Greetings, YouTube. On August 11, 2007, Sophie Lancaster and Robert Maltby were walking through a park in Lancashire, the United Kingdom. It was a little after 1 a.m. They were assaulted by a group of teens, at least 5, possibly as many as 15. During the assault, Robert Maltby was knocked unconscious. Sophie Lancaster, cradling him in her arms, attempted to protect him. She was kicked repeatedly in the head. She eventually slipped into a coma and died. She was 20. The reason for this attack? She and Robert were dressed as goths. I want that to sink in for a second. Two young people walking through a park were brutally attacked because of the way they dressed. In the year 2007. And one of them died. There has been an animated film made in honor of Sophie. It shall be shown on MTV this week. I'll post a link to the video itself. It's rather well done. I'll also, if I remember, post a link to the Wikipedia page that discusses the case in question. 5 youths were eventually charged with the crime and found guilty. 2 of them will be serving at least life sentences in prison. I have no idea what prisons in Britain are like. I don't imagine they're pleasant. And my sympathy meter is rather low. I often comment about the problems that the United States has, but we aren't alone. Tolerance, prejudice, injustice, these are things that every nation wrestles with. The United Kingdom is no different than anywhere else. I just find these types of crimes particularly difficult to comprehend. I realize that humans have been attacking each other simply because another group looks like the other for as long as we've been a species, and this characteristic was probably prevalent amongst our ancestors. The first time it happened, the first hominid that beat another hominid because that hominid didn't look quite the same, it wasn't justified. It isn't justified now. But now we have true self-awareness. We are not just sentient, but sapient. And so the confusion and the hurt when this kind of thing happens is greater. I'm not really sure why these thugs decided that, someone dressed as a goth is deserving of a beating. Maybe they were just drunk and bored. In ancient Greece, if you committed a crime while intoxicated, you were charged twice with the crime. Once for committing the crime, and a second time for committing the crime while intoxicated. I've always supported that particular view of the world. That just because you inhibit your own reasoning capacity doesn't mean you are absolved of your crimes. I'm sorry that Sophie had to die. I'm sorry that just being what she wanted to be, dressing the way she wanted to dress, made her a target for such thuggery. Her mother misses her and hopes that over time the Sophie Lancaster Foundation will help spread a message of tolerance and acceptance, that how one dresses is far less important than who the person wearing a dress is. I recently did a video about boys wearing skirts in school, but to the best of my knowledge, recently at least, no boys have been kicked to death in the United States for wearing a dress, for wearing a skirt, nor should they. I've known people in the Gothic community. I don't know any at the moment, though I actually do know someone who has such pale skin that she actually is a white person. But it's just a subculture, like any other subculture. And even if you have nothing to do with any of the subcultures around you, tolerate them. Just let bygones be bygones, live and let live. You don't have to like the people. You don't have to endorse or encourage or accept the way they live their lives. You don't have to tell people it's a good thing to do. Just leave them alone. Just let them be. A famous politician once said that what a person believes neither picks my pocket nor breaks my leg. That holds true now as much as it did when it was first said. I'll say a prayer for Sophie and hope that she understands that not all of us are like this. And thankfully, some of the teenagers that witnessed this attack called the authorities and tended to she and Robert while emergency services arrived. The judge in the case commended them, and rightfully so. So there is a bright spot. Not all of us are like this. That's one of the few things that keeps me going.